If you're going to stay, we're going to have a brief talk back for like 20 minutes tops. So we'd like to invite the director of the Counseling Center, Dr. Adler, up to the stage to partake. Let's wipe our tears real quick. Thank you all. If you don't want to stay for the talk back, no pressure. Thanks for coming. Thank you so much. All right. So we just have a few questions just to guide everybody in the discussion. Just a little like debriefing after the heaviness of the show. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Hi, I am Brielle Adler. I am the director of the Counseling Center. I'm a psychologist. Before we get started with the talk back, I really want to just commend all the players for taking on this show. This is not easy material. And it's also such a super important topic for us to talk about openly and to engage with openly. And so I really appreciate the fact that our students here at Iona have taken that on as a personal responsibility through your art form. And I really appreciate also that the Counseling Center was asked to be a part of it. So can we give one more hand to these students?
It was a challenge, but if anyone didn't know, we had 21 days to put this show on. So, look at all these talented individuals. I'm so proud of you. So, why do you guys think it was important that the players took on this show? Just kind of go off of Dr. Adler.
Well, fake glasses. Oh no. They're real, and I don't wear glasses, so my eyes are a little wonky. Well, I think that, like Dr. Adler said, that mental health is a very important topic that should be addressed, especially on a college campus with all that college students are dealing with on a daily basis. So I think that having the opportunity to present this material and just to address mental illness in an art form, I think is very important. And the players, we like to do comedies, but sometimes we like to jump on serious topics. And I think that it was a good opportunity for us to tackle this very important show.
Real glasses are not good. I mean, I think it's tremendously important, you know? A lot of our shows are more lighthearted, and not even a lot of the ones that aren't lighthearted are just kind of like funnily over the top, like Carrie. But I think when we do our more serious stuff, like this, we did the Laramie Project last spring, we kind of put out our best work, because I do think we're a group of people who understand the importance of a show like this in terms of portraying mental health and sort of destigmatizing it. And it's not something we do terribly often, but I do still think it's very important that we do it, because things like this need to happen, and people do need to see stuff like this, you know, through art. So, yeah.
I think, like, going off them, it's even if like we haven't experienced like mental health issues ourselves, I think we all know somebody in our family or some like our friends, people you meet. Even they have like mental issues, and you know, you can't just like, a lot of people will like just like push it aside and be like, oh, it's just your own fault. But like, mental health is a serious issue, and you know, we need to, you know, spread awareness to that. So that's like, our show did that perfectly, I think. So, anybody else?
Oh my God, there's one microphone. There's so many people.
The other one is, it's lost. I don't know where it is.
We can speak without the mic. Can you guys hear?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole show.
That's very true.
Okay, in the song, My Psychopharmacologist and I, tongue twister, Diana mentions all the side effects: nausea, vomiting, drowsiness, sexual dysfunction, headache, seizure. So she finally says, I don't feel anything. The doctor pronounces patient stable. I guess I'm asking Dr. Adler this. How accurate were the portrayals of the treatment in the show?
No, that's okay. So, do all those treatments exist? Yes, they exist. ECT is a real thing. It also is still used, and it is also an evidence-based proper treatment for depression that does not respond to any other form of treatment over a period of years. It does involve memory loss, mostly short-term memory though, not as much of the long-term memory that was depicted in the show, but like you said, Eddie, has often been recorded. And also, there are many medications were mentioned in this show. The medications that were mentioned were all for different things. They would never all be given to the same person. That's one thing that's important. What was mentioned was kind of like this salad of medicines that you kind of, that you know, in every class that's imaginable, but they would never all be given to the same person. Also, this show was from, I think, 1998.
Yeah, it was,
So,
yes.
yes, the Diagnostic Manual for Mental Psychiatric Conditions has been revised several times since then. Grief, for example, is no longer considered pathological after 4 months. There's also much better and more targeted psychopharmacological treatments. There's better evidence-based talk therapies as well. So there was some things that were mentioned in the show that were very much spot on in terms of reality and what's done, and other things that were not. But that being said, it is never the goal of mental health treatment to stop a person from feeling. That is false. And that is in fact exactly the type of thing that causes stigma about mental health treatment. That idea is actually not only false, but really offensive to people who are going to get treatment, because I work with those folks all day, every day. They're not looking not to feel. They're looking to feel in a way that is bearable, while also pursuing the goals of life, and that's justice. That's something that everybody should be able to do. And that's why the work that we do as therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists is in favor of people's ultimate goals, you know, to achieve happiness and love, work, right, and all different parts of life. So that all is a piece of it.
So I know we only had 21 days to put this on, but how did you guys feel portraying these characters who are struggling so much? Laura?
Oh, hey.
Mainly you.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on the
No,
spot.
it's fine.
But
No, I actually remember like when Eddie told me about this, I like was in his room and we were like talking about Carrie things or whatever, and he was, and by the way, we're also doing this other thing. And so I listened to it in the car one time, and I texted him right as I got here. I was like, I don't think we could do this. Like, I was like, I don't know if this is possible. But like, then the more and more I listened to it, I was like, you know what, like we can and we should do this. It's a really cool opportunity for like acting and like singing abilities to be shown, and also I think we were talking about this earlier, just to like the depiction of someone with like a very extreme mental illness being shown as a person, you know. She, like, when I went into watching it, I was like, okay, like I know that she's bipolar and has delusional episodes. And like, but then when you're watching it, you're not watching a person with bipolar disorder, you're watching Diana, you know? So I thought that was like I don't know. I felt like I wasn't playing a person that had a mental illness. I was playing Diana, who happened to also have one.
It's not her identity.
Exactly.
Anybody else?
Well, for me, since I, as you know, wasn't alive for
Anyone who didn't know.
I
He
did.
was not alive.
It was coming into the first day. I was like, oh, like I actually, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really look at the show the first couple of days. So like when they told me when they told me I was dead, I was surprised, I was shocked. But when I realized that, I was like, okay. So I just went through rehearsals, but I didn't really actually feel like I wasn't there physically until the first run through we had, which was, I believe,
Like Thursday.
It didn't sink in, and I thought like, oh, I'm a person, I'm here. But like, it took me until like I started singing at someone, and they were not like looking or responding to me at all. They just had no emotion, or they were like, you know, it just. So it was just crazy that like I don't know, the whole thing was just a
There's
lot.
like everyone in this show has a little bit of something, except for Dr. Madden and everything, because he's like, yeah, he's just he pushes the story along. But everybody here has like a little bit of something going on. And at the end of the day, like yes, like Diana's the one that all of a sudden was on the ground making sandwiches at the end of the first song. But like the story's like really about Dan and how he like handles Yeah, he's like, I'm actually the lead. He's like, and how he handles having a wife who's been mentally ill for the past 17 years and not being able to grieve for his son and like not really being able to be there for Natalie and how his wife isn't. It's just like a whole. There's a lot.
Well, then, I also remember you were like, what's the point of my character? And I was like, what do you mean, what's the point? You and Natalie are like parallel to them. Like, it's supposed to be this like hopeful relationship. Like, at the end, Diana leaves, but Natalie stays with you.
Yeah,
So-
I kind of felt like an intruder. I was like the only sane person going into like this insane.
You're like her saving grace.
Yeah.
Very cute.
But yeah, no, I definitely felt, I felt not like an outsider, but I mean, I could almost feel like, you know, Jack, because I only interacted with mainly Natalie, or Jess,
Whatever.
and whatever. But like, in the one time I interacted with, Diana.
I'm over here.
It was like, I interacted with her not at her best, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, after the ECT and
Yeah.
and after you went through all that, so I really got the worst of this film. It's all right. I'm still with it.
Yeah, you're so
I'm so sorry.
I think we covered all these questions. Does anybody in the audience have any thoughts, comments, questions?
praise.
It was amazing.
Bravo.
It was amazing.
All of you. Laura mostly, but all of you.
I like you guys get on to
One thing I feel that in this role, I should say, right, given this forum, is that suicide is something that affects college students at a remarkably disproportionate rate. There are 1,000 deaths of college students on college campuses in the United States every year, and it is the second leading cause of death among young adults ages 18 to 24. So this is an epidemic and a crisis, and that is why it is even more important that this was discussed in this particular forum. So I really want to put out there a plea to ask each other if you notice that anything is wrong. On the back table, the Counseling Center has put out some resources with specific questions that you can ask if you notice that anybody in your life is struggling. Most people, many people who have survived suicide attempts say that if someone had just asked the question of how they were doing and asked them if they were considering ending their lives, they may not have done so. You will not plant the idea of suicide in somebody's mind by asking them that question. And so if you're here, I think you must be someone who not only is a loved one of somebody who's in this production, but also someone who cares about these topics, who cares about improving the lives of yourselves and the people around you. And that is a really easy